How's it going, guys? Will here. I thought, seeing as it's such a nice day today, we might film the video outside. Then I remembered whenever I film outside, the neighbor's dog just barks like crazy. I'm not even exaggerating, he just constantly barks. Today we're going to be talking about 3 phones in particular. I mentioned in my last video that I'm actually upgrading my personal phone, and it's one of these 3. So I'm going to be explaining today which one I chose, but first of all, roll that intro. So, as I mentioned in my previous video, I am upgrading my personal phone. And for me, the choices were pretty simple. I knew I wanted it to be an iPhone. I knew I didn't want the 11 Pro. I knew I wanted the new design, so I cut out these to make a demonstration. Now, this is the iPhone 11. We all know about this phone. It's just been released. It's actually got some pretty nice specs, other than the screen. And as I mentioned in the previous video, I really prioritize a good screen. So this one's gone immediately. But what about these two? This is the iPhone XS and this is the iPhone X. So today I'm going to be explaining which one of these 2 phones I chose as my new personal device and how you can make an informed decision when choosing your next smartphone. Right, let's go over to the corkboard and I'll explain how this works. Gotta have the corkboard. I actually Frankensteined this from like an old display board. You know those things where you stick your pins in, what they actually called? Pin board? Yeah, we'll call it a pin board. This was an old pin board. It got super broken, so I just took the cork out and now it makes a nice little background. Where's the keyboard? Hey, we have located the key. This is gonna be underexposed. I'm sorry. I should have put it on auto ISO. Hold on. That now fits. I now have to move the deodorant that shouldn't be on my desk in the first place. My old SD card that I'm probably gonna use for like my 3DS nowadays. I got the Lexar one working, by the way. Turns out I was shooting in the wrong wrapper. Cards. Okay, set up. Just gonna move the light, then we're ready to shoot. Light moved, pen located, paper on desk, or also the corkboard. Now to just move the camera. So, here are the 3 main contestants. Now, first we have the iPhone 7. That should actually be a 1 there. The screen is not particularly high resolution. It's a little large for my liking, and the bezels are kind of thick. These specs are all really good though, especially for the price, but this just means the iPhone 7 is not a viable option. And next we have the iPhone X. So the screen is a nice high-resolution 18:9 display. The bezels are nice and thin. The processor's kind of old now. This is the A11. We're currently on the A13. And we only have 3 GB of RAM. However, due to this key component of iOS, this isn't really that big of an issue. We also have 2 cameras, and I personally think that these 2 cameras are much more useful than the 2 cameras here because I never really find myself reaching for space. This one's an ultra-wide and this one's a normal, or this one's an ultra-wide and this one's a normal. I don't need that ultra-wide camera. Like, I never find myself in a situation where I'd need an ultra-wide camera. So again, don't need it. Now, next we have the iPhone XS, and when this was released, it looked pretty much identical to the iPhone X. Screen is the same, the bezels are the same, the processor has an update, the RAM has a gigabyte more, it's got iOS again, and it's got 2 cameras. Now, these 2 specs are a very nice upgrade. However, as we said, iOS, and now let's talk about the 3rd component, which is price. This is around That's a 2. After a quick fact check, it's actually around 650 Great British quids, and this, for a pretty good condition refurbished model, is £480. iPhone X's the winner. So there we go. I've adjusted the white balance in between takes. Hope that's not too bad. I'll probably correct them so they'll look the same. Hopefully. I've often said I'm gonna correct the white balance, then I just forget. I sometimes say, oh yeah, I must remember to do this in post, then I just don't. So there we have it, my new phone, my personal new phone, revealed at long last. And I suggest anyone who's looking to buy a new phone, whether that's Android, iOS, BlackBerry. Does BlackBerry still even exist? Hold on. Yeah, apparently BlackBerry does still exist. Okay. And they're still making phones with keyboards. Even if you are looking at buying a BlackBerry phone, I do suggest still running it through the system. Take a look at the specs, take a look at the real life performance, do the price to performance analysis, or even do it on paper like I did if that helps. It can be really helpful and it can help you make a much more informed decision if you do this before you buy a phone instead of just buying what you think is the best. Not only have I saved money by doing this, but I've also saved myself from going and buying the iPhone 11, realizing the screen, looking at the bezels, looking at the size of the phone, then bringing it back. Don't get me wrong, I do think the screen on the iPhone 11 is probably going to be really nice. If the 10R is anything to go by, then this is going to be a really good phone. But whenever I buy a phone, I want the screen to be absolutely magnificent, like incredible. Because as I said in my previous video, which you should watch up there, the screen is one of my favorite things about a phone. Also, the button placement and the OS is super important to me. And I don't necessarily mean OS, I just mean a really nice, stable software performance. So if an Android phone could do all of those, I'd honestly have no problem buying it. Honestly, I'm not an iOS fanboy. I do just like what they're doing at the moment. But if a company like Samsung could develop their own OS with like a good selection of apps to go along with it, and a mute switch, never ever forget the mute switch, I'd honestly have no problem buying it. Okay, this section's over. Let's go make a cup of tea because it's yeah, it's 10:30 at night. I wanted to make this video during the day, but it was super hot today, and also I had to sweep up the hedge cuttings because my hedge got cut by a giant tractor. That thing was so loud. Okay, let's go make a cup of tea because I'm British and Dr. D's probably gonna say something. No. Ugh. Yeah, that's way too much milk. How's it going? It's the next day. Oh, that was obnoxious. So the other day, I received a really good question on one of my YouTube videos. Now this was, what camera settings do you film in? Specifically, what do you vlog in? Do I shoot with an ND filter or do I shoot log and grade in post? And the answer is, neither of those things. I actually shoot in a Rec 709 codec, and I also shoot in aperture mode. I don't even shoot in manual when I'm vlogging. Mind you, this is a fairly recent change. I only started doing this probably about 2 weeks ago. Sorry, I've just got up if my voice is like completely gone. And by the way, I only do this for vlogging. I never do it for like cinematic sequences or studio work, and I don't shoot log. I don't think it's really necessary, especially with the GH5. The dynamic range is already pretty good, and the benefits that I get from log just wouldn't be as useful as the time I've saved by not shooting log and grading it as Rec 709 footage. And I find this works best for me. Now, your camera may not have the best dynamic range, or you may just like shooting vlogs, so go ahead. Shooting log can be good, but for my vlogging workflow, I just don't see the point in me using log. Now, as I previously said for my review section, this is completely different. I shoot in manual, I shoot in 10-bit, I shoot in loads of crazy settings that are kind of overkill, but that's what works for my review workflow. I'm gonna sip of this coffee. And by a sip, I mean drink half the cup. Okay then. And the reason I decided to include this section in this video is because I find it's kind of like choosing your own phone. You need to be choosing what works for you. So as I said, I don't shoot log. You might like to shoot vlog. I like iPhone. You might like Android. Find out what works for you, then choose something according to that. Okay, I have another video to make. This one's actually how to get cinematic video with an iPhone. That's going to be coming on Monday. I've ordered the iPhone 10 and I'm going to be showing you guys that on Thursday. I'm getting back to my normal schedule because I got my camera back. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to like the video if you want to see more content like this, and smash that subscribe button. I'm done, and I will see you guys in the next one. We're outside my shed. I shot the Sony a6500 review in that shed. The lighting was awful. We could do something with it though. We could stick some lights in it and just acoustic treatment and use that. I should actually just do the room out where we did the iPhone photography video. Yeah, that'll be good. There's like already a sofa in there. There's fairy lights. It's painted. Yeah, all right, we'll do that. That could be a fun new series. Okay, no, that really is the end of the video now. See you guys in the next one.